In a move that sent shockwaves through the defense world, Canada has announced plans to purchase a brand new fleet of fighter jets, an announcement that has caught many by surprise and is making headlines across the globe. But here's the real bombshell. These jets won't be coming from the United States as many expected, but from a European consortium, marking a significant shift in Canada's defense procurement strategy. This decision represents a dramatic break from decades of buying American aircraft, a tradition that has long defined North American air defense and symbolized the close military partnership between Canada and the US. For generations, the Royal Canadian Air Force has relied on US-made jets, ensuring seamless cooperation and interoperability with its southern neighbor, especially through NORAD. But now, Ottawa is signaling a new era, one where automatic alignment with the US is no longer guaranteed, and where Canada is willing to chart its own course. The decision comes after a heated years-long procurement process to replace Canada's aging fleet of CF-18 Hornets, which have served the country for decades but are now nearing the end of their operational life. American defense giants like Lockheed Martin and Boeing were widely expected to win the contract, given their long-standing relationships and advanced technology. Yet, in a surprise twist, Canada chose the Eurofighter Typhoon, citing not only its advanced capabilities but also the value and industrial benefits it brings to the table. This move is about more than just military hardware. It's a bold statement of economic sovereignty and a strategic push to strengthen Canada's own aerospace industry. Ottawa wants its defense purchases to do double duty, boosting Canadian industry, creating jobs, and supporting innovation, not just filling military needs. The choice carries real consequences, touching on national pride, economic security, and the future of Canada's international partnerships, both old and new. By diversifying its alliances and reducing dependency on the US, Canada is asserting its sovereignty and taking a more independent stance on the world stage. The message is clear: Canada's national interests come first, even if that means surprising its closest allies and rewriting the rules of defense cooperation. In Washington, Canada's decision landed with disbelief and concern, echoing through the halls of power. For generations, the US-Canada defense relationship has been built on trust and shared equipment, a bond that seemed unbreakable. The idea of Canada flying non-American jets raised immediate questions about the future of this alliance, sparking debates on both sides of the border. US defense contractors, blindsided after years of effort, saw not just a lost sale but a blow to their prestige and influence in the global market. The White House was caught off guard, and frustration simmered beneath diplomatic niceties as officials scrambled to respond. Officials had pushed for an American jet, emphasizing the strategic advantages of a common fleet, which now seemed in jeopardy. Some saw Canada's move as a deliberate distancing at a time of global uncertainty, a shift that could have far-reaching consequences. The real worry: if Canada can turn away from US defense products, who might be next? This question loomed large in strategic discussions. Think tanks and analysts were forced to reassess assumptions about the stability of the alliance, considering new geopolitical dynamics. The decision was a wake-up call, proof that even the closest partnerships are vulnerable to political and economic pressures, and must be nurtured. The era of the US as the default supplier is being challenged, prompting a re-evaluation of defense strategies. Canada's move set a precedent, and Washington is scrambling to understand the implications, both immediate and long-term. The shockwaves extend beyond government and industry, shaking the foundations of North American defense and prompting urgent dialogue. The US must now decide how to respond to this unexpected northern challenge, weighing options carefully. The alliance has entered uncharted territory and the path forward remains uncertain, demanding careful navigation. Canada's decision wasn't just about jets. It was shaped by recent trade disputes with the US-American tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, and a bitter Bombardier-Boeing feud soured relations. These actions made buying American politically toxic in Ottawa. The move was partly economic retaliation, wrapped in a procurement process. A new generation of Canadian leaders wants less reliance on the US, seeing overdependence as a vulnerability. Buying European jets was a way to diversify alliances and assert independence. The European consortium's offer included technology transfer and jobs for Canadian industry, a powerful incentive. The deal was framed as a partnership, not just a purchase, promising long-term benefits for Canada's economy. Ultimately, the choice balanced military needs, economic gains, and a clear message of sovereignty. Canada is redefining its relationship with the US, seeking equality, not subordination. The loss of Canada's contract hit American defense companies hard, sending shockwaves through the entire industry almost immediately. Tens of billions in revenue and thousands of high-skilled jobs vanished overnight, leaving factories idle and workers uncertain about their futures. The ripple effect spread through supply chains, threatening layoffs and economic pain in U.S. communities that depend on defense contracts for stability and growth. Beyond money, the rejection of the F-35 and Super Hornet dented American prestige, raising questions about the future of U.S. military technology leadership. European competitors now have a powerful marketing tool. A G7 ally chose their jets over America's, signaling a shift in global defense alliances. This erodes the perception of U.S. technological dominance and could impact future sales worldwide, as other countries reconsider their own procurement decisions. Defense contracts are about more than planes. They're about decades of maintenance, upgrades, and support, creating long-term partnerships and economic benefits. By choosing Europe, Canada locks itself into a European supply chain for a generation, shifting jobs, expertise, and investment overseas. The U.S. loses not just the sale, but the entire ecosystem of long-term economic activity, from research and development to ongoing technical support. The consequences will be felt for years, both financially and strategically, as the industry adapts to a new reality. American industry now faces a new, more competitive global landscape, where every contract and partnership is more important than ever before. Canada's move is being watched by U.S. allies worldwide. For many, buying American has meant closer ties with Washington, but Canada proved there are alternatives. This legitimizes European options for countries considering their own fighter jet replacements. European firms now have a major boost, able to argue their platforms rival or surpass American jets. The global arms market is becoming more competitive, challenging U.S. dominance. For NATO, diverging fleets complicate interoperability, requiring extra training and logistics. If more allies follow Canada's lead, seamless integration could erode, making joint operations harder. Buying American has always meant buying into U.S. influence and doctrine. Canada's choice to plug into a European ecosystem loosens that grip, signaling a shift toward a more multipolar world. The U.S. is no longer the automatic leader, alliances are evolving. Interoperability is the backbone of military alliances. For decades, U.S. and Canadian pilots have flown the same jets, sharing tactics and technology. Introducing European fighters creates new challenges, different systems, less seamless integration. The F-35 was designed for deep data sharing. European jets can't plug in as natively. This could create a two-tiered alliance, with some allies having fuller access than others. Logistics and maintenance become more complex and expensive with mixed fleets. In a crisis, incompatible systems could slow response and create vulnerabilities. NORAD's instant cooperation relies on technical harmony. Now, that's at risk. Both countries will have to invest more to bridge these gaps. The decision adds operational risk and complexity, born from politics, not military necessity. The era of easy, automatic cooperation is over. When allies choose different systems, costs rise for everyone. The U.S. loses economies of scale. Fewer jets built means higher prices for all buyers. Fragmented development means less efficient use of defense budgets and slower innovation. Canada may face higher long-term costs for operating a less common platform. It forfeits the benefits of the vast U.S. logistics and support network. The promised industrial benefits must outweigh these risks for the deal to pay off. The U.S. now faces a choice: double down on its own systems or invest in bridging technologies for allied integration. The future will be more complex and expensive, with a patchwork of systems to manage. The days of allies buying American by default are fading. Defense cooperation is entering a new, more complicated era. Canada's jet decision is a sign of a shifting global order. American leadership is no longer automatic, its allies are more independent and assertive. The U.S. can react with anger, or use this as a chance for reflection and adaptation. It must ask why its closest partners feel compelled to look elsewhere. A smart response means treating allies as true partners, not just customers. The U.S. may need to become the integrator, providing the networks and technology that tie diverse allied systems together. This requires a new mindset, from hardware supplier to alliance architect. Canada's choice is part of a larger story. Alliances are changing, and so must American strategy. The real goal is not just selling jets, but maintaining trust and cohesion among allies. In a multipolar world, being the best partner matters as much as having the best technology.